Kia ora koutou, hello everybody, and welcome to this video about Mercury, which is going to be going retrograde from the end of August until about mid-September. So that's going to make our lives a little bit inconvenient for 3 weeks. But it happens 3 times a year, and it's a good chance to go over things and check that we got things right. My name is Fiona Ingram of Sun and Moon Calendar.nz, and this video is about Western tropical astrology from the point of view of Aotearoa, New Zealand or Ngāti. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. Let's get into Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde will be taking place in the sign of Virgo from the 23rd of August until mid-September. Here are the dates there. On the 23rd of August, Mercury will be at 21 degrees and 51 minutes of Virgo. And then the midpoint will be on the 6th of September, and that is when Mercury will come into conjunction with the Sun. On the 15th of September, Mercury will have moved behind the Sun, and it will be at 8 degrees. Mercury is about how we think and how we communicate. As the ruler of Gemini, Mercury is very much about our communication, and people with strong Gemini can be very witty, quick thinking, very good at banter and small talk and witty kind of repartee. Mercury is also the ruler of Virgo, and that's quite important in this case because the retrograde is taking place in Virgo. So particularly up for review this time will be our thinking processes, and that's to do with the Gemini as well, but especially in Virgo, Mercury is about our analytical brain, our decision-making processes, and how we use our brain to discern things, organize things, put things into categories so that they can be organized into a coherent system. So all of that is up for review. Here are the stages of the retrograde over the 3 weeks. At the start of the retrograde, Mercury appears as an evening star. Then Mercury slows down and stops moving forward, and then gradually starts moving backwards. At that stage, Mercury is still visible, but not for long. Having said that, I do want to acknowledge that Mercury is a hard planet to see. It is usually so close to the Sun, it never gets very far away from the Sun. I don't know that I've actually seen it, and it's partly because I live amongst hills, and one day I need to get myself down to the beach and with a good view of the east or the west, depending on whether Mercury is an evening or a morning star. At the midpoint of the retrograde, Mercury will come into conjunction or cazimi with the Sun, and this is a key moment where you can ask the universe a question. All the rest of the retrograde, if you're asking the universe some questions, you might get some confusing answers. It might not be good to act on sudden new inspirations. It's probably better to be going back over things. But at that midpoint, within like half an hour of the exact conjunction of Mercury and the Sun, you can ask the universe a question. At the end of the retrograde, Mercury will gradually become visible again, this time as a morning star, and it will slow down again and become stationary, and then gradually move into direct motion. Following that, we still have Mercury going back over those degrees that it covered, and we'll be fixing up many of the mistakes that showed up during the retrograde period. And of course, all of this is just as we perceive it from Earth, because astrology is based on our viewpoint from Earth, what we can see and notice from our vantage point here. What's happening in reality, astronomically, is that we have the Sun, and Mercury is orbiting the Sun 3 times a year. Mercury orbits the Sun. It's got an orbit of 88 days. So while it's retrograde, while it appears to be going backwards in the sky, that is what happens when we've got the Sun, we've got the Earth, and Mercury is in between, and the Earth goes a bit that way, and Mercury kind of looks like it's trailing behind. Just to let you know, that midpoint when Mercury is cazimi or conjunct the Sun is at 11:08 p.m. on the 6th of September. And if you want to ask the universe a question, that could be a good time to do it. So you'd have to stay up late to try and get as exactly close to that time as possible. And I will also remind you of the classic symptoms of Mercury retrograde so that you're aware just in case you're not. Mercury retrograde is a time where things can go wrong with communications, with technology, with transport. So your car might end up having some troubles in Mercury retrograde. Definitely things go wrong with technology, and we use technology so much in our working lives and our daily lives, our personal lives. So things can happen that go wrong with computers, with emails, all sorts of things can go wrong, and we just need to have patience and go through this. When you're sending an important message, check that it has sent. Check it before you send it. Read it properly to make sure that that is what you want to send, because all sorts of things can happen. Yes, so, and take care when you're forwarding emails in case you've included somebody that shouldn't actually be included in there. All sorts of things. I think the IT departments will be getting overrun, and probably the mechanics as well. If you're planning a major purchase or doing some major work on your car or on some other machine, perhaps wait till after the Mercury retrograde period. And that the same can be said for signing any really big important contracts. Wait till later so that the communications can be clearer and things can go more smoothly. And all of that sounds quite negative, but I do want to also say that Mercury retrograde is an important period of review so that we can get clearer about how we're working, how we're moving through life, how we're communicating, and get clearer on some of our decision making and our goals. So I hope that Mercury retrograde goes well for you, and you will need to have patience. So apply patience with yourself, with the technology, and with other people, because we'll be making mistakes here, there, and everywhere. That's just what happens. Hei kona rā, ka kite, all the best.